Hi everyone. Amira, you said you're not able to hear. I just started speaking actually. Can you hear me now, Amira?
Hey, yes, I can hear you, Ruth.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, welcome everyone. This is our second newcomers meeting. We actually started this last week. We had one last week, so this is the second one. Thanks for joining in. So Shruti just posted the meeting minutes. Please kindly add your names to the meeting minutes and any issue you might want to talk about, any topic you might want to bring up. Okay. So the first thing we are starting with, we are going to do like an all-round introduction, just a quick introduction on your name, where you're calling from, just for us to get to know you. So I'll start first, then I'll call. So we'll just go like in an orderly manner. So I'll just keep calling. So you kindly just unmute yourself and give us an introduction. Okay, so hi everybody. I'm Ruth from Nigeria, and I actually am a Python developer, and I've been contributing to Layer 5 for over 1 month, and it has been an amazing experience. So Shruti, please can you go next?
Yeah, sure. Hey,
Yeah.
everybody, I'm Shruti. I'm going to be rambling a lot in this meeting, trying to host it. Please bear with me. And I'm from India. And I'll actually give others a chance to introduce themselves first because you'll be hearing a lot from me anyway. Let's start with people who haven't been on earlier calls. Rishikesh Agarwal, I think you haven't been on one. Do
Yeah,
you
so
go ahead and introduce yourself?
go ahead.
Hello, my name is Rishikesh. I'm from India. I'm a web developer. I am mainly make websites and web-based softwares, mainly in Vue and React. And I am looking forward to grow with this community.
Great. React. Do remind me to ping you on Slack. We could use your help in one of the
Yeah,
areas.
sure.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Great. Um,
Okay. I
Ruth, you want
think
to pick our
Amia.
next? Yeah.
Yeah, Amia should go next. Please, you can unmute yourself. Uh, can
Ameya
Amia hear
Agash.
me?
Agashi, if I'm pronouncing that right. Please do correct me if I'm not.
No question. Night at the museum.
Hello, is everyone able to hear me?
Yep, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
loud and clear.
Hi there, guys. Hi.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you
I'm
very much for
fine.
asking.
All right.
I think we're having a clash. So, Favor, after Amia, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. So, when Amia is done, Favor, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Look, basically, I'm just for this meeting to. I think there was some presentation happening by Anirudh Jain for Measure installation, and I'm really keen to understand that. That basically brings me for this meeting.
Yep, I know that. Welcome to the meeting, Ameya. Thank you for giving us an hour of your time. I hope it'll be worth it.
Sure.
Um,
I think Lee said that he will basically bring this item about um, changing the perhaps the timings for the meetings, but I think that's up to Lee and the other people as well.
Yep, that has been brought up, and that's a very good suggestion on your part. It is definitely a problem for East time people, East Pacific time people,
Oh,
and we'll
no,
definitely
no, let me
be
just.
moving it back a couple of
Thank
hours
you.
if possible.
Sure. Thank you.
Great,
Much appreciated.
great, great to have you on the call. Um, yeah, Favor, go ahead. If I'm also anybody, if I'm pronouncing your names wrong, Please do go ahead, interrupt me, correct me.
It's Ame Agashe.
Thank you
Oh,
for that. I
okay.
will remember that.
But thank you very
Yeah,
much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure.
yeah, you're
Anytime.
welcome. So, Favor, you can go ahead right now.
Okay, okay. Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello, can you hear
Hey.
me?
Yep, we can
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, to introduce myself, right? Okay, my name is Favor Ara. I guess you know me in the group as Favor.
You dropped off there for a bit. Favor. Hello.
Code. Basically, I do a little of yeah.
Go ahead. You dropped off there for a
Okay,
second.
all right, and I also do a little of mobile development. So basically,
Um, can't hear you,
So
Favor.
we're
Sorry.
losing Favor. Yeah. So, just Ashley, I think this the first time Ashley is on the call. Ashley, please can you kindly introduce yourself?
Hey, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. My name is Ashley. I'm an aspiring full stack developer. I'm going to be enrolled in Code Smith for software engineering immersive in the next couple months, and I was just interested in contributing to open source and getting used to like, GitHub and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm just really glad to be part of the project.
Great. This is a good place to start off with open source. I can tell you that from personal experience. You're very welcome here. Let's start to with some issues. When possible, welcome to the community.
so, sorry, did you hear me? Sorry, I have some network issues.
Oh yeah, that's fine, Favor. We lost you for a second.
Also, everybody, the meeting minutes are a communal effort. Please do go ahead, add your name to the attendees list, add any topics that you want to add in the agenda, in the topics. We'll be sure to get to your topic in time. And if we can't, we'll definitely get to it in the next meeting. There's a link in the chat for the meeting minutes. If you can't access it, comment, send a ping on Slack, anything, and we'll help you get to it. All right, Vinayak, would you like to have a go at the introduction?
Hello everyone, my name is Vinayak Sharma. I am from India, currently a second year student doing electronics and communication engineering, and I mostly do like web development. Most of our work has been with either Vue or with React. Recently I've started learning Docker and Kubernetes, and I got to know about this community from the Community Bridge mentorship program, and I'm really looking forward to make some meaningful contribution to this organization.
Great. You're very welcome here. Also, do remind me to send you a few resources for the Community Bridge program on Slack, if I forget.
I've already received the that mentor mesh form, and I've filled it up.
Great. That should be enough. Perfect. All right. Any other newcomers? Ruth? Anybody else?
Yeah, I think so. Let me check the participant. I think Shubham. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it rightly.
Shubham Gupta?
Yes.
Hey, go ahead.
So, hello everyone. I am Shubham. I am a pre-final student from IIT Roorkee, India. So I have done many projects as a part of my college group, SGS Labs, and they are some of them are in Go and Vue, some of them are full money stack apps, some are PHP apps. So yeah,
Great.
I would like
Nice to meet you.
same.
Okay, I think we have Precious left and Anuid. So
All right, that's it. Moving on to the agenda for today. Is my screen visible?
yeah, this.
Great. Great. Um, so we did a tutorial on running and setting up Jekyll in the last meeting. We're having a little bit of a technical issue with the actual recording. It will be updated with a pre-recorded version of the tutorial soon enough, but for in the meanwhile, we did type up a guide for getting started and installing Jekyll. This tutorial was done because 3 of the Layer5 sites currently run on a Jekyll base format. The other 2 run on Gatsby. You're very welcome to go through the tutorial. You're very welcome to ask questions, either in comments here or on Slack. You're also very welcome to check out the recording when it is finally uploaded. That should be by the end of this week, hopefully. All right. Today we have a very exciting tutorial set up for downloading, installing, and running Meshry. Meshry is one of the central projects that Layer5 works on. And I'll hand it over to Anirudh from here.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Anirudh and I'll help you guys understand on how to set up Meshry. So I'll just share my screen. Give me a second. So, share screen. Okay. So guys, is my screen visible to you guys?
Yep, it is.
Okay. So as certainly there are some prerequisites that you need to have before starting to run Meshry, and those are Docker desktop and Kubernetes setup. So for Docker, Docker you have options for Mac, Windows, and Linux. So Docker, if you're using Mac or Windows, it's great to go with Docker desktop, and if you're using Linux, it's great to go with Docker Engine to serve as a Docker provider. And you also need a Kubernetes cluster setup, which can either be kubeadm, minikube, or Kine. And the main thing here is if you have Docker desktop, Kubernetes comes with it, so you don't have to do much of a setup in that part, and that really helps a lot. So if you guys are using Windows or Mac, I'd say going with Docker desktop is the best way to go. After these prerequisites, you need to download the Meshry repo. So this is the Layer5 GitHub page. You go to Meshry, take this link, or simply do copy from here and run, I guess, git clone, then the URL, and you clone the repository. So for me, I've already cloned the repo. So it's this. And the next thing that after you get the repo is there are 3 ways you can run Meshry. So one is make run local. So this starts a local server. You can use Docker Compose for that also. And the other way is using Meshry CTL, which does all the Docker commands for you, but you still need a Docker and Kubernetes setup. So I'll just go with Docker Compose for now. So I'll say Docker Compose up. So it'll start creating those containers for me, and it's up. So I'll do this local first, 9081. And this is the Meshry UI. So you get a page like this. So this is the Mesh3 UI, which if you work on the UI part, you'll be working on this, and you can use any of these three ways. So you can use Mesh3 CTL, you can use Docker Compose, and you can use this. So also Mesh3 CTL, like talking about Mesh3 CTL, you can use the prebuilt binaries instead of building your own. So for prebuilt binaries, we have it set up on Homebrew. If you're a Mac user, and if you're a Windows or Linux user, you can use the binary provided. So this link can actually go to the quick start guide. So let's just go to the quick start guide, and here you can select using Mesh3 CTL. Mac or Linux, you can use Homebrew, and uh, for if you have Bash, so in mostly even in Windows, if you have Bash setup, you can use this command to have your binary installed to use the Mesh3 CTL or the Mesh3 command line interface. And that's more on how you can set up Mesh3 on your local system. And so I'll also start the same with Mesh3 CLI. So in a minute, I'll just close this cluster. Okay. Yeah. So what the next thing I can do is Mesh3 CTL system start. So this will pull the images and start the cluster on my Docker. Also, this is using this actually does all the commands that have been done above, and it boots up. So everything is done. All the commands are executed through the CLI, and this is the page you get, right? The main Mesh3 app. The other way you can do it is obviously make run local. So I guess it's self-explanatory. You can just simply run make. So this. Also, so when you use Docker Compose up and Mesh3 system start, it even installs all the adapters with it. So you get adapters with containers that will help you with the application. But when you run local, that only starts up the Mesh3 server and not the adapter. So you have to be sure when you're running things that you don't end up running the make local if you want the adapter also. If you're working on adapters, you might need a make run local, but it's better to go with Docker Compose or Mesh3 CTL system start. So for as I said, you can use these Mesh3 CTL binaries to get started with Mesh3 CTL. Also, so if you don't know the commands what Mesh3 CTL supports, you can simply type Mesh3 CTL, and you get the usage, what are the available commands, and the flags for it. So currently we have performance testing. So it's Mesh3 CTL perf. We have system for lifecycle management. As the command I run is Mesh3 CTL system start. So this is the command that I run to start boot up my Mesh3 server, and you can use that. You also have a version to get the version of Mesh3 CTL that you're using. So that's more on how you can different ways of how you can run Mesh3 and Mesh3 UI and also Mesh3 CLI. So if you guys have any questions about this, let me know. And
Yes,
yeah,
I have a question for you.
yeah,
Look, basically how I'm doing this thing is I already have an existing EKS cluster, okay?
okay,
And within this Mesh3, look, and how I'm actually spinning up is I have a Linux Bastion server from which I will provision 2 nodes for EKS cluster. Now, this Mesh3 I have to install on Linux Bastion or can it be installed on EKS cluster? Can you please enlighten me?
yeah. You can like obviously if you're running on a cluster, you can install. You can obviously install you can use a VM or any virtual machine in the cluster to get Mesh3 deployed on it. So it could be any Linux environment. That would be preferable if you can start boot up Docker to get things done. You need to take care of the environment variables and uh, make sure that your Docker environment is also available, because just having Kubernetes environment is not sufficient in that regard.
Okay, thanks, Mike. I actually got some in response from Cloud Native Austin, so that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Lee. Yeah. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.
Great. Lee is not actually on call.
Okay, who is Cloud Native Austin?
That would be me.
Oh, great, Shriti.
Sorry, who is this? Sorry, my apologies. I'm calling as Cloud Native Austin, but it looks like someone else is there.
Yep, it is. It is Cloud Native Austin. Technically.
Great.
So, any other doubts or any other queries regarding the setup? In the probably in the next session, I'll give you an overview on how you build the CLI and how you build the UI, because once you start creating or developing, you need to build them in real time, so you can work on it and see responses directly.
Yep.
So that would probably be in the next session, and this session is mostly only for getting Meshry running. So if anyone has any questions regarding this, please let me know. You can even ping me on Slack.
And I wrote, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm currently trying to download Docker.
Okay.
But this is my first time of doing it, and I've heard a lot about it. I'm using a Windows machine, so is there anything I should know? I downloaded the stable version.
Okay, so in Windows, are you using Docker Desktop for Windows, or are you using the Windows subsystem?
Yeah, I've never used Docker before. The link that Shruti sent for downloading Docker Desktop, that's what I'm using to download.
All right. I'll take this one, Anirudh, if I can.
Yeah, sure.
Great. So for Windows, the process is a little bit more complicated because Docker Desktop does not run without the help of a Linux VM. You can install the Windows subsystem for Linux. I'll add a link to the meeting minutes. You can also refer to the Windows documentation in the Meshry docs. So basically what you have to do is you need to have a Windows build greater than 1903, which enables you to install and run WSL2. That is the second version of WSL, which supports and allows the internal, let me think of a word for it, has internal support for Docker Desktop. Otherwise, if you do not or cannot install WSL2 or do not have the appropriate Windows build for it, you will have to resort to running WSL1, which does not have internal support for Docker Desktop. In that case, you will have to resort to running Docker Toolbox, which is a deprecated version of Docker Desktop. It functions well, but you will have issues upgrading and installing and simply running it because you cannot integrate it with WSL, and you'll have to run a separate CLI for Docker. So anyway, coming back to WSL2, it is the recommended option. After you've installed WSL2, you can go ahead and download Docker Desktop, and it should function smoothly. Does that answer your question, Karen?
Shruti, to be honest, I didn't understand any of what you just explained. I didn't really get it at all.
All right.
So I'm just going to put the download for Docker on hold. Then maybe after the meeting, I can send you a message on Slack. Then you can put me through better. Is that fine?
Okay. Sure, that's perfect. I'll also add a couple of lines for Windows users in the Meshry setup guide written by Anirudh. So anybody who wants to run Docker Desktop on Windows or run Meshry on Windows can go ahead and look at it after this meeting. Great. All right, moving ahead. Anirudh, you won't be doing the UI tutorial today, right?
Yeah, no, I won't be building everything. Like I can get it done, but it's better to actually let the current just running the Meshry sink in and have everyone get that done first before moving on to the building part.
All right, great.
Actually, I have a question. If you don't mind, can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
Look, this meshery and network service mesh and adapters. I can see there are a lot of adapters here on your page, which you will basically install the meshery dashboard. Can you please share your screen once again, if you don't mind, and give a little bit of more
Yeah,
insight
sure.
the relationship
So,
of this one with NSM and other adapters, please?
okay, so you can see my screen right now. So, I'll give you a bit more idea. And yeah, actually, that's something I forgot maybe. So, let it start. Uh, okay, okay, just fine. So, this is running right. Okay, so so you see set up the cube environment. Okay, so now my adapters are visible. So basically, adapters are you could say an abstraction for different service meshes. So they can be Istio, console, open service mesh, or anything. So what you can do is you can go to console or whichever service mesh you want to run. You can go to their page. So this is the current page for adapters, which is obviously this will be improved by a lot, but currently this is the page. So here you can deploy a service mesh right now. So I'll just go with open service mesh. I can deploy it. So I'll just say open service install service mesh. So it'll get deployed in some time.
Quick question
You'll
here.
get the results here.
My
Yeah.
apologies. My apologies, sir. I want to ask you a question here. When you click on deploy this service mesh, where exactly
Yeah.
this is deployed? Onto your cluster or on your where I believe so, right?
It'll get deployed to the Kubernetes cluster.
Okay,
So
fantastic.
I'll even show you that part. So
Sure, sir.
kubectl. So you do see a new namespace, right? OSM system.
The
So
default one?
the OSM system. So this is kubectl get namespaces. I just listed the namespace. So here you can see the last one is OSM system.
Yep.
So let's go to OSM system now. So these you have OSM controller, OSM Grafana, OSM Prometheus, and the main Zeppelin for it. So this is part of the open service mesh. And
Mhm.
so if you deploy if you deploy Istio, all the default Istio adapters or all the pods related to that gets deployed on a namespace. You can so for OSM open service mesh we have OSM system. For Istio we have Istio something. So everything has a tag. Everything gets deployed in its own namespace as a separate service mesh, but it's managed by mesh tree. So you can manage all of the service meshes through adapters of using mesh tree instead of having deploying each of them separately.
So Meshery can actually even manage my Istio service mesh as well. That's what you say, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Oh, super. That's very fantastic. And even
And
I can deploy this network service mesh through this Meshery dashboard as well.
yeah, so you can even deploy through here. So network services, I can even deploy it through this, right? So I
That is
just yeah,
cool.
it's stable. So I just
Very cool.
deployed it. Also, you can currently there's a thing on progress. So that's in starting or deploying or managing the service mesh through CLI. Currently, we can uh, install adapters. We can link adapters to Meshery through CLI, but not actually invoke a service mesh lifecycle management command. So that's like creating, destroying, or configuring the cluster. So yeah, so it's NSM has been deployed successfully. So I'll just go kubectl get namespaces, and it's why is it not here? Wait, it must have been deployed somewhere else. It's taking time. So this is how you deploy. So you can simply go click on plus network service mesh, and to destroy it, you can simply do this. So
Okay. Now,
you can
yeah,
destroy.
that's great. Now, look, I have another question here, if you don't mind. Now,
Yeah.
is this the only way you have to deploy a NSM, or there is a like there could be a repo? Say for example, like an Istio, you have a repo, and then you have releases. There is any other way to deploy a network service mesh like we deploy for Istio? So, is this the only way, or there's another way as well? I just want to understand.
You can, so currently adapter is an abstraction for a service mesh, right? So you can, when you have options currently to deploy it separately. So for example, currently we have specific versions that we support, one the stable version and the latest version from Istio. Currently we keep on adding operations, so every adapter has their own um, repo. So for example, we have Mesh-Ray Istio. So each adapter has their own repo, and each adapter can repo can be configured to add more operations. That's basically on, like, you will have a latest version. And for example, Istio has many type of deployments, right? You can use Istio CTL, you can use uh, what's that? You can use Helm for deploying it. So we consider those points, and we have multiple deploy options for Istio in that specific way. So
But I think, yeah, I think I really like this measure because I definitely can see Istio can be
mm,
deployed and as well as NSM through a single
yeah.
dashboard. I think which is a bright feature.
And so here is the latest Istio using MTLS. So Istio has two different ways on how you can deploy the service mesh, and the one way is using the MTLS, and the other way is using the Istio adapters stable version. So anytime there's an update on the repository, this page automatically gets updated, or at least it is dynamic, so it gets automatically updated. So you get all the latest operations and all that when you start working on any adapter.
Yep. And
Okay,
you.
please, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, please, does Mesh-Ray works with what technology does it work with, or does it work with all technologies? Like, what specific is there a specific technology it works with, or
Mesh-Ray
it goes with
supports and works with
every?
service meshes. Does that
Okay,
answer your question?
okay, all right.
Great.
Yeah,
Ameya, you'll
it
also
does.
find,
Thanks.
great. Ameya, you'll find a list of supported operations in the Mesh-Ray docs for each particular adapter. If you're interested in that, I'll send a link in the chat.
Yes, please. That would be great. That would be simply fantastic.
All right,
Thank
I
you.
check it out.
Great. All right. Moving on now. All right. After a great tutorial by Anirudh, let's see. So basically everything Anirudh just said and explained and demoed can be played around with, can be understood better using workshops. So Layer5 has these workshops that it provides for free to you, and you can go ahead and learn about Mesh-Ray, learn about service meshes, learn about how we operate using these workshops. And Ameya, as a point of interest for you, we also have a particular workshop to run with Istio. If you want to try that out, I'll send you a link personally.
Shriti, I will be more interested in not just Istio because in network service mesh because the challenge which I'm having is I want to join a node from an external network to my existing EKS cluster, and I believe Lee actually pointed out that NSM would be a way. So I want to focus my attention and energy on this NSM. So do you have any workshops for that, please?
We basically just use Istio as an example.
All
So
right. Okay.
yeah, so you can definitely just swap Istio for NSM in the same workshop.
Okay, Mike. Sure.
Great. I'll be sure to send you a link for that. And I'll be sure to add a link to the meeting notes as well for anybody else who wants to try this out.
Sure.
Great. The quick start guide is also a great way to start out with Mesh-Ray, to install it, to run it, to play around with the tool, to understand the tool. All right. Some other reading resources for you. These are all included in the Mesri documentation, which can be found on the Mesri site. I'll add a link to the meeting minutes if you don't already have it. Yeah, so this is the
Shruti, I
Mesri.
have another. Yeah, my apologies, Shruti. I do not want to
Go
interrupt.
ahead.
But just want to understand Meshery and Layer 5. How are they connected with each other?
Layer5, Mesri is one of the projects under Layer5. It is one of the projects that Layer5 currently supports.
Oh,
For
okay.
example, yeah. Do you see the list here?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Mesri is one of the projects.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
All right, so I'm adding a link to the docs documentation as well. Some of the pages have been bookmarked for you, which are a good starting guide for Mesri CTO, for basically anything that you want to start out or understand, which Anirudh has beautifully explained just a couple of minutes ago. And there you go. There's a link in the meeting minutes. Anirudh will probably Anirudh or somebody else or somebody basically will probably take up another session on Mesri CTO, on the Mesri UI, and how to go about setting up the development local deployment in the next meeting. So please do tune in for that. And that's about it. Let's move on. All right, Karen, you want to go ahead with this?
Hello,
Karen?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shruti.
Great.
Thank you, everybody. So let me introduce myself. I haven't gotten time to do that just yet. My name is Karen, and I started contributing to Mesri about, I don't know, close to a month ago. But all my contributions so far have been basically documentation. So I spoke to Shruti saying that it would be a good idea if we could have a video, kind of like a video tutorial, just putting a new contributor through to how to make their first open source contribution to Mesri. So I'm still trying to get a hang of the other technical content, like every other technical aspect of Mesri. But for now, all the contributions I've been doing so far have been docs. So I made two attempts at creating a video, although both times I had some, but the latest one I created, I wanted to just share it so that maybe I could get feedback on what to do to make it better. I've watched some of the videos from Layer5 on YouTube. So I spoke to Lee and Shruti, and they spoke about, adding the general intros and outros that we use for other Layer5 projects to the video, but I don't know how that will work. So Shruti, would it be okay if I shared my screen to kind of show you what I have so far?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe I could get recommendations on how to make it better. Okay. So how do you share screen? 1 minute. 1 minute, please. Open this. Share screen. Hold on. How do I shoot this? My screen.
Not yet. Just a black screen. Yep, can see it now.
Okay, so I'm trying to open up the video right now. By the way, I just finished downloading Docker, so just going to have to.
Wait.
1 minute. I'm trying to. Okay. I'm so sorry if my voice sounds weird in this video. Why is it taking forever? Hello, welcome to Meshri. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for wanting to contribute to Meshri. I'm going to hold your hand and guide you through to making your first open source contribution. After watching this video, you will be confident enough to dive into Meshri, take a look at the open issues, and tackle any one of it that seems interesting to you. Are you excited? Let's get started. So the first thing you have to do is to navigate to this web address, https://github.com/layer5io/Meshri. Once you're here, you have different panes. I'm assuming that this is not your first time of using GitHub, but if it is, let me know in the comment section, then we can arrange to make a video on an introduction to GitHub. Shruti, can you see my screen? What you have to do is to come here to the issues pane. Issues simply means that, okay, people have used Meshri, and here are some of the issues that we found out, because the aim of open source is to make the project even better. So you can help us by looking at an open issue. Shruti, and help can us you see my screen? That's the kind of help that we require from you.
Yeah,
so let's click on the issues pane right
could you
here.
pause the video for just a
Yes,
second?
I will. And see a list right now. We have about 3 open issues, which is cool. You are definitely going to find. I'm sorry, my when you get to the issues,
No, I know you're from
there are
Mugwana.
different labels assigned to different issues. So the labels give you an idea of which of these issues is
Shruti, I'm trying to pause it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
be especially notable of issues that have labels of first timers only, or good first issue, or help wanted. These are specifically aimed towards first timers. However, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be working on this particular issue. Yeah, should let's go on, please. Click on it.
We can, yeah.
The issue.
Let's not play the exact video on call. Maybe you could explain.
Shruti, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay.
Great. Let's not actually show the video on call. Perhaps you could explain what you've done.
Shruti, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh my gosh.
Am I audible? Ruth?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you, Shruti.
Great. Karen, am I audible? All right, I think we've lost Karen for a bit. All right. I'll go ahead and explain what Karen was trying to do there. So we have had a lot of contributors in the last month or so, who have had a bit of a problem working with the Git desktop application with Windows, because inherently the Git desktop application does not offer an option to sign off on your commits, which is a requirement for any PR to be accepted by Layer5. It is just a DCO requirement, which it basically means that there is a digital signature on your commits that you push to, or that you push to your PR or to your commits. And that is exactly what Karen was trying to demonstrate through her tutorial. There will be a link in the meeting minutes. I will make sure that it is there. It will also be hosted either on YouTube on the Layer5 YouTube channel, or somewhere which you will be informed about. Karen was gracious enough to take up this initiative and has taken up one of the issues in the Layer5 repos and made a pretty good tutorial for anybody to follow through. If you're using Windows and if you're using Git on Windows. Karen, is your audio situation any better?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Yeah, so that's basically it. I was thinking maybe you and Lee and maybe any of the others who were able to watch can give suggestions on how to make, because I kind of figured out that I wanted to make a balance. The tutorial should not be too simple that the main aim of making the tutorial falls out, and it should not be too complicated such that somebody who wants to contribute, like a first-time contributor, is scared and runs away. You get, so kind of just striking the balance. So maybe, I don't know, just let me know what you think about the video, any recommendations on how to make it even better. Then maybe we could make another one for, yes, and I actually figured out that using GitHub desktop, maybe for something like documentation contributions, is quite easy. Just make your changes. Well, maybe we could break the video into even smaller steps, like how to make how to create a branch. I spoke to, no, I don't think I've spoken to you yet. I think it should be another, we should tackle the issue of maybe creating a general workflow for creating a branch. Like if somebody is tackling a particular issue, what is the, I'm trying to look for the word now, I can't figure it out. The guidelines for creating a branch name. Are you following me, Shruti?
Yep, I am. So the basic
Yeah,
user
something
flow is
like that.
already defined in the
Okay.
contributing guide.
Okay,
Let's talk
take a look
about
at it
more
again.
about this in Slack, if that's okay.
Okay, sure.
Great. Is Chinwendu on call? All right. I guess not. I'm not sure what this was about. Ruth, do you remember? Ruth, Kalichi, Anita, anybody? Ruth? All right. Well, never mind. We'll discuss this in the next meeting. Going forward, so for any new contributors, we have a list of Git first issues. The prerequisites are also mentioned. These are completely basic and beginner issues that you can take up with almost no prerequisites. For example, so currently I'll walk you through one of the projects here in reference to this issue. So currently we are in the process of hauling over the layer5.io site, which is basically this site, over to a Gatsby platform. So this site is currently based on a Jekyll platform, which is a tool for hosting static websites. We're currently in the process of hauling it over to a Gatsby-based, React-based site with the Layer5 NG domain name. And well, we need lots of help in that. And currently in the process of hauling over the basic data from the layer5.io site to the layer5 NG site. I'll walk you through this particular issue for any new contributors that are hoping to make their mark here. So what you currently need for this particular issue, what you currently need to do is you need to transfer the data that is visible on this page from the layer5.io site to the layer5 NG site, which is currently hosted on the Netlify platform. It is a work in progress. To do that, you need to have basic knowledge of Markdown, some CSS, a little bit of JavaScript to make sure that the entire thing looks appropriate and respectable and just looks good to the eye. This is a very basic issue and can be taken up by almost anybody with a little knowledge of at least JavaScript. Markdown is a very easy thing to learn. It's basically English transferred a little bit towards the technical side. If anybody wants to, I can provide a guide to learn Markdown as well. It's basically just like a preamble, which is just guidelines for Amaya. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, Shruti. Yes, I am seeing and I'm here able to hear you as well. No problem.
Great, perfect. All right. So there are a couple of issues like these, which were put out in the last week or so. Most of them have been taken up by existing contributors, by people who have come in. You are very welcome to watch this space across all the Layer5 projects for basic issues as well as complicated issues, and for something that you want to get into, whether it is the side projects, whether it is Mesh3, whether you're hoping to get into React-based work with the Mesh3 UI or the sites. I'm looking at Shubham and I think it was Vinayak here. because you mentioned having some experience or wanting to work with React. Ping me on Slack if you want to work on issues. Ping me on Slack if you want to find issues. Yes, and that's it. I'll also go through the Layer5 repos. So we currently have about 6 projects, 6 live running projects, which are mentioned here. One of them is Meshri, which Anirudh just demoed, which we're doing a tutorial for today. The other one is the landscape project. Another one is service mesh performance, which is the SMP project, which is in direct correlation to Meshri. What it currently provides is assurance that your service mesh conforms with the SMI specification, which is a lot of technical detail that I won't get into at the moment. It probably will be on one of the tutorials in the upcoming meetings, so please stay tuned in. The rest of the project's a little bit too technical for this particular meeting because we only have about 8 to 9 minutes left. And that's it. All right. Does anybody else have anything to bring up in the meeting?
Hello.
Hey.
Yes, I am a Vue developer, so I want to know how can I contribute. Like I saw a repo, Image Hub. So can you tell me about that and what are the issues in UI and front-end part so that I can contribute?
Sure, Rishikesh. All right. I'll spend the next 3 minutes in explaining the products to you or to anybody who wants to get into the websites part. So currently Layer5 has 5 site products going on. One of them is the Layer5 site, which you're currently looking at, which we're currently working on hauling over to the Layer5 NG platform, which is the Gatsby Run platform. The current site works on Jekyll. Another one is Meshri and the Meshri documentation. This site is also run on Jekyll. The documentation is also run on Jekyll and uses CSS, JavaScript, React, all the design languages that you can think of. Another one is the smp-spec.io website, which is also run on Jekyll. These are the easy ways that you can make your mark here and which you can start out here. The SMP website currently needs a lot of work. You'll find a list of issues that need to be fixed with the SMP website here. If you can see my screen, there's a link in the meeting minutes. It was discussed in the last meeting by Neil, I think. So if you want to go ahead, please do have a look at these. Some of them have already been fixed. Some of them have not been fixed. If you want to make sure which have been fixed, which have been not, get into GitHub. If you haven't worked with GitHub before, play with the UI, look at some tutorials. You should get the hang of it pretty soon. If you can't get the hang of it, do ping me on Slack. I'll help you out. Ping anybody on Slack in the Layer5 community. I'm sure they'll help you out. So these are the running ideas for the SMP side that need to be fixed. Please do have a look. Apart from that, I'll show you the SMP repo ones on call. Yep, so currently the SMP site front is being headed by Neil and Jaber and me and Josh and Nikhil and a couple of other people. I won't bombard you with names at the moment. Go here and pick out any open issue, comment on any open issue that you want to take up. People will be kind and helpful, and I'm pretty sure they'll respond to you as fast as they can. If you are hesitant in doing so, ping me on Slack instead. Also, if you're a newcomer, do please join the Newcomers channel on Slack. And if you want to work on the websites specifically, please do join the website channel on Slack. If you can't find those channels, again, ping me, I'll help you out. Ping any of the community managers, actually. It doesn't just have to be me. If you don't prefer to talk to me after all the rambling I'm doing here. Completely understandable. Yeah, that's about it. Does that answer your question, Rishikesh?
Yes, yes, yes.
Great. Yeah, ping Ruth as well. All right. Does anybody else have any questions?
No, no question, Mike. It was fantastic.
Great. Thank you, Mel. That's awfully sweet of you. Um, well, also, this is a call for anybody looking to the repos. Please do star the repos when you find it. It helps us a tiny bit in progressing the projects, in progressing the effort taken to build those projects. Ruth, you want to add anything here? All right, I think Ruth has a bit of an issue with the audio. All right, I'll actually demonstrate a little bit on this for anybody who was asking what Jekyll is. So we had a tutorial in the last meeting. And yep, so we're setting up Jekyll and working locally with it to make any changes to the sites or to work with any of the issues that have been taken up by you or that you're hoping to take up, or if you're just planning on playing around with the sites. Well, this is a guide written up for Windows, for Linux using the Ubuntu VM, another one for Linux, and another one for macOS. These were done by me, Dave Calder, and Alabo Briggs. A recording of this will be up soon, I hope, because we had a bit of a technical issue in the last meeting. We'll be doing a recording of the tutorials, and they'll be up for you to view, for you to go through and learn from, hopefully. These will get you set up with Jekyll and running with any of the sites that you wish to be. If you have any issues even after this tutorial, again, feel free to ping me or any of the community managers. And that's it. That's all for today, I think, if nobody else has any questions. Feel free to ask questions in these. This is a meeting for you. It's specifically a newcomers meeting. You can ask questions in any meeting, basically, but this is a platform where you can and where people will answer the most basic of questions. And all right, so that's it. Let's not get into a fight between Nigerian, American, and Indian slangs. That will take another hour of our time.
It's not a fight now, just explain.
All right. I am not going to drop an Indian slang here because let's do that after a few meetings.
I'm just kidding, Shruti. Sure.
All right. Thank you for coming. Thank you for hearing me ramble on and on. Please do tune into the next meetings. We'll be having some more tutorials on Meshri, on running and setting up the UI, on deploying it locally, on working on it locally. We'll also be having some tutorials on setting up and running with Meshri CTL, which is the CLI for Meshri, built specifically for Meshri. Go through the guides here, go through the workshops here. If you have any issues, again, ping me on Slack. And I know I'm being repetitive with that statement, but please do ping me on Slack. We'll help you out in any way you can. Yes, the next meeting will be on Thursday, Maya. Same timing. That's it. Great talking
Bye,
to you.
everyone.
See you next meeting. Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Reddy.
Great. Great to have been called. See you next time.
Yeah.
Great. Bye-bye.